Welcome to the Franchising 360 Show, the only show that takes you inside the world of franchising, with hosts Tim Parmeter and Danielle Wright.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in to Franchising 360 Show with Tim Parmeter and Danielle Wright.
That's me.
We are going to take a 360-degree view of the franchise industry on this show. We've got tons of things to get you properly educated about. We've got another guest coming in tonight that's going to talk about a whole bunch of franchises, not even one. This guest is so awesome. He's got like 10 of them to talk about. But you know what everybody really looks forward to on this show?
The guest?
The guest. That's what we look forward to more than anything. But it is Friday. We need a Friday franchise fun fact. What you got for us, Danielle?
Okay. Choose A or B.
A.
A. Did you know, fun fact, that Dunkin serves over 3 million customers a day?
No, I did not know that.
Do you know across how many locations?
2,700.
No.
How many? Don't make me guess again, because it just then I'm
it's
one
so
more
many
time.
more no's. I just love this.
One more time I am wrong.
Across 13,000 locations.
13,000 locations.
And here's another fun fact. They're all 100% franchise owned.
100%.
Yeah.
Okay. I did not know that.
So how many customers?
A lot.
3 million.
3 million.
A day.
You know what I'm thinking about?
No.
The maple glazed donut.
Oh. It's not where I was wanting you to go with that.
Oh. I was going from a consumer standpoint, and I could use a snack, and that's a really good donut.
Okay, well, that's your Friday fun fact.
Friday fun facts. 13,000?
13,000.
I feel like that's, I would love to know, like, maybe you can get back to us on the next
Yeah,
episode.
maybe I can just use that as, like,
But
you know.
I feel like that's
Follow
one
us
that
for
was,
more information
like, there
on
was
that.
a tipping point where it was just like a Northeast thing, and then all of a sudden it was like, and then it was Dunkin' Donuts, and then now it's just Dunkin'.
Now it's just Dunkin'.
It's like
good call out, because I was getting ready to say that. It
Yeah.
used to be Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin' Donuts, and now it's
Now it's just Dunkin'.
Now it's
What are we
Dunkin'.
Dunkin' besides donuts?
Well, their sandwiches are lovely as well. So, and
This just took a path that we cannot pull
I
back
know.
from.
Guess what I'm going to be ordering for breakfast tomorrow, folks? Is
a little Dunkin'.
a little Dunkin'. Excited for our guest tonight.
Yes.
And
again, excited.
I am excited, and I'm just sticking with that word, and I'm gonna thesaurus it up one day. But for right now, we are excited. We have from Empower Brands, Scott Sutton, who's the Chief Development Officer, to talk about all of their franchises and kind of how it works when you're in a big group like that.
Yeah, it's super fun. Lots of moving parts.
Yes.
But I like them. I like Scott. Good guy.
And so we've got that next. So Scott Sutton from Empower Brands is coming up next here on the Franchising 360 Show right after this. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Franchising 360 Show. Tim Parmeter alongside Danielle Wright. And joining us tonight is a wonderful guest. We're excited to talk to him. Is the Chief Development Officer of Empower Brands, Mr. Scott Sutton. Scott, thanks for joining us.
Great to be here. Thanks so much for the invite. Looking forward to a great conversation.
Oh, you came to the wrong place.
I know. I was like, what?
What he's thinking.
He's so good.
Yeah,
We'll
gee
just
whiz.
leave. He can
Yeah.
just talk to the camera. It's
Perfect.
fine.
So, Scott, I've got a whole slew of questions here for Empower Brands, but give us a little background on kind of you and how'd you get into this crazy world of franchising?
Crazy world of franchising. It is a great question. How many people go to school for franchising? Right? It's just not a thing that people aspire to do for folks like me that were on a college track. But I kind of fell into franchising. I was an undergrad at the University of Oklahoma. I had an opportunity to intern with a fast food franchisor. And I had the opportunity to be a marketing intern, to learn what a marketing organization does for a business, not necessarily for franchising. So I had the opportunity to do that for 2 summers. Started to understand what franchise ownership looked like, what business ownership looked like through the eyes of franchise owners. And after college, I was hired into the petroleum business and had an opportunity to scale 2 new brands in the passenger car motor oil category.
Okay.
That's a lot of words.
It's a lot. There's an acronym. I'll spare you the acronym. And so I had the opportunity to work with a team. All of us were new, and so we were scaling these businesses to compete with some industry giants that were out in the marketplace. So you think about what you learn when you're focused on customer acquisition, marketing tactics, operational design, tech stack, a whole host of very key and specific areas that support business ownership. And
Right.
so I got exposed to that at a very young age, not necessarily really knowing what the benefit of that was over and what it would be over time. And so that really cut my teeth in terms of what I wanted to do with my career, focus in on franchising. That was the petroleum sector. I've led development in early childhood education, in retail, B2B, and now home services. And I'll tell you both that in my career, when you have an opportunity to move around, I've worked for publicly traded companies, Fortune 10 companies. I've led mergers and acquisitions and large publicly traded organizations, as well as franchise development in small private equity-backed businesses. And everywhere you go, you take some best practices, you take some learnings, you learn kind of how to lead and what to do, but you also learn maybe what not to do and how not to lead.
Right.
We can all
Right.
relate
Yes.
to that. And so this opportunity came up 3 years ago with Empower Brands to be able to step in and help lead the franchise development organization and help drive the growth of the company. And the first thing that I wanted to lean into and look at was the culture and what's different about the culture at this business that I've heard so much about. And so that really was the decision for me to take the step and move into Empower Brands, because the culture was aligned with my culture, number one, but number two, I'd had the opportunity to see what typically works well when you talk about franchisee support, we talk about growth. And for me, the recipe that's foundationally based on culture exists at Empower. And that, to me, at the point in the career where I was 3 years ago, was this is not about anything other than making sure I can work with a group of people that are aligned in the mission to help people achieve their life goals through business ownership the right way. And so that's been 30 years. It was January of 1995 when I started my professional non-intern franchising journey, and it's hard to believe it's been over 30 years.
And it's crazy. Almost everybody I've ever asked that question to has had zero intent of getting into franchising, and then it's 5 years, 10 years, 30 years, whatever it is. Like we never leave this this thing. So
Once you're in it for life. Like, I don't think you may change, you may
Right.
learn new things, because I think that's the one thing that is consistent with franchising people is we always want to learn more. There's always something else we want to conquer. I think that's why we get along.
And we talk
with.
about like all the things about becoming a franchise owner, and certainly we're going to talk about that with Empower, but I think we probably don't talk enough about all the career opportunities for people within the industry that you don't have to be an owner, but you can be around like you have that entrepreneurial spirit and want to be able to help and have great experiences.
It's energizing. I mean, at the end of the day, each of you knows that. You work with folks that are trying to achieve a life goal. Maybe they're solving a pain. Maybe they've had this goal, this dream of controlling their own destiny, and you're working with folks along that journey, and so are we. Yeah. And someone asked me a long time ago, it was a candidate that had just signed, and we were at a conference, and he said, Scott, if this brand is so great, why aren't you a franchisee?
Oh, I love those questions.
And I sat back and I thought, well, I know myself well enough to maybe think differently about owning. But in all seriousness, the answer is when you have an opportunity to be, if we have to pick a side of the table, right? If you have an opportunity to be on this side of the table and work with someone along the path to helping them achieve that dream, it's compelling. Yeah. It is incredibly rewarding. And so from my perspective, helping lead a team to help people do that, being involved in helping people achieve that dream is just something that I never, if I go back to, my young self, I don't know that I would have ever thought that what I was going to be doing in life was helping people achieve their dreams in such a meaningful way. And so that's why I do what I do. That's why our team does what they do, and why we'll continue to do it the right way. Yeah,
it's that energy piece, or just even like the positivity. And you mentioned that sometimes I think we take that for granted for those of us that are in this industry all the time, this is a positive, energetic space versus, well, I'm sitting in my cubicle and let me see, is it break time yet, right? And so I'm glad you kind of brought that up. And so give us a quick sense on Empower Brands and maybe a little like, who are they and kind of their little backstory there.
Yeah, Empower is, as a name, is relatively new. It's probably about 3.5 years old now, and it's really the culmination of two businesses coming together. The businesses, Lynx Franchising and Outdoor Living Brands, looked a lot alike. These were businesses that were very culture-centric, franchisee-first. Lynx Franchising served the B2B space, and one of the largest brands inside of that portfolio at the time is JanPro.
Right.
And of course, Outdoor Living Brands with leaders like Scott Side and Chris Grand Prix and their team that developed new concepts and new categories, right?
Yeah.
That team really is the team that brought to the market the mosquito abatement category, right?
Yeah.
That was founded out of an idea.
Right.
So you had this residential focused portfolio of brands. You had a B2B focused portfolio of brands, very, again, culturally aligned. And so the question became, how do we pull these two businesses together to make that 1 + 1 = 5 equation really work?
Yeah.
And so, those two businesses came together, gosh, I think it was probably mid-2021 now.
Yeah.
And the result of that was more opportunities at the consumer level, at the customer level,
Right.
for thinking about ways to cross-sell, to cross-solve problems, as well as recognizing that at the franchisee level, there's always an opportunity to build out your own portfolio, both
Yeah.
across B2B and B2C. What was missing was bringing those two organizations together to operate as one team.
Yeah.
How are we one team? Culturally, we're aligned, but we're still two businesses. And so our CEO, Scott Side, obviously has done a phenomenal job. His background is incredible. And one of the biggest wins, when I look kind of as an outsider back on what the organizations did, one of the biggest wins that I see is bringing those two businesses together, forming one team, and then starting with what is it that we're focused on, what is our mission, what is our passion, what are our values. Let's get that set. And the name Empower Brands came last.
Yeah.
That wasn't, hey, we're going to be Empower Brands, and what does that mean? It was, who are we as people? Who are we from a strategic perspective in business? And what is that shape in the way of a naming convention? And that's from where Empower came.
Nice.
So the challenge for us now is education, right? We're in a market now where, you've heard the term FSO, Franchise Sales Organization,
Oh,
right?
Scott. Okay. So before we go down that path, hold that thought, and we want to talk a little bit more about Empower Brands. But
All right.
first, we got to take a break, and we're going to be right back on the Franchising 360 show right after this. Hey, we are back on the Franchising 360 show. Tim Parmeter, Danielle Wright, and our guest, Chief Development Officer from Empower Brands, Scott Sutton. Scott, in that first segment, you talked about culture. I think that's a buzzy word sometimes, but there's also some real truth to it. What is it about the culture of Empower that is so attractive to people?
Yeah, I think I boil it down. We'll use the metaphor of 3 legs of a stool, right? We talk a lot about growth, right, and success at the franchisee level, what that means from a production perspective at the consumer level. There are a lot of organizations that generate growth, and that might be their focus, and that's an important focus. There's 2 other legs of the stool that I think about a lot, and that's behaviors and attitudes. And where are those behaviors and attitudes aligned? And so when you break it down into those 3 buckets, those 3 legs of the stool, I think about Empower this way. We have fundamentally very strong brands that have incredible unit level economic performance data, right? Just very strong businesses that operate in high value categories. That's great.
Right.
The other 2 legs of the stool, I think, are a little bit less quantitative. They're more qualitative. And they're really based on the way that we interact with each other, the way that we interact with the customer, and more importantly, the way that those interactions, the way that we think about those interactions shape the decisions that we make. And so the behaviors of the culture are really aligned around this concept of franchisee-first. I know you've heard that before. I've read it before. I've seen it out there in a lot of different places.
Not a magic statement.
It's a buzzword. It's a cliche for a reason, which is also a cliche. When you think about franchisee-centric and franchisee-first, the reason that's different, we're a private equity-backed portfolio company of 10 brands, right? And one of the big value differentiators for us at the franchisee level, when I think about someone that is wanting to take such a meaningful, significant step in their life, to change their life, to change the lives of their family, their employees, their community, how impactful that is, fundamentally, you have to look at what kind of organization are you joining? At Empower, I love to talk about the journey of Scott Side, who is our CEO. He tells this story in an incredible way at our Empower Day events. He talks about the fact he came out of college, he was broke, he had no experience. So let's start a business, right? And he became a franchise owner. Now he was in the food space, but he became a franchise owner with a friend of his that became his partner. He was able to get funds from the SBA and start his dream. He's been a franchise owner. And one of the things that Scott will tell you is the benefit of doing what he did when he did it was that he got incredible support from the franchisor. He was able to see firsthand what great support looked like.
When it's done properly.
That's right.
And you're willing to listen.
Yes, right.
Absolutely.
Right. Well, and I think one of the things too, I always look at brands, I think tenure is a key piece, right? And you'll see some brands where there's like, or certain people like, oh, it's a different shirt, right? Like a different logo on their shirt.
Yeah, we go to different events.
People with Empower have been there, like the new people have been there 6-7 years, let alone 10, 15, 20 years, which means it's a pretty, like again, when you talk about the culture, like how long are people staying? You got some staying power with both the internal, and then obviously the franchise owners are like incredibly happy as well.
I've been with the company for 3 years. Like I'm still down here on the totem pole, right? I mean, the seniority totem pole. You're exactly right. And we talk about the diversification of the portfolio, the brands that are in the portfolio. It's easy to think about diversification means what category are you serving? Oh, you're diversified. You have a roofing brand. You have a lawn care brand. But there's this other element of diversification that's really fun for us, and that is the diversification on the road to maturity. So we have brands, 3 of them in fact, that are in the incubation phase. They're young brands. They've been incubated. They're right at the tipping point of significant growth. We also have high growth brands that have been around for a number of years. They still have a lot of white space, and new franchise owners are coming in. Existing ones are in years 2 and 3, so they're seeing rapid growth. And then you have mature brands. Lynx Outdoor Living began franchising 40 years ago.
Wow.
So it's fun to break up the portfolio and look at those cohorts. And for someone that's coming in, they can see the roadmap. The company knows how to take a brand and incubate it, how to move it to high growth, and ultimately support the business when it's mature.
You have that, like that, somebody's looking at one of the newer ones, you're like, wow, but that's a new brand, I don't know. You can kind of look around and go, no, these guys know what they've already been there, done that, and really kind of help give that confidence for those newer brands, right?
Have they done it before? How has it gone?
Right.
And what or who is their focus? I mean, those are the 3 key questions that I'll encourage people to try to answer, regardless if they're looking at a brand in the Empower portfolio or a brand in another sector of the business. Those are important things to know about the entity, the company, the people with whom you're going to be tied for 10 years,
right.
20 years.
So the future, right? You guys have got these different brands in all of these different places. Where does Empower go next?
It's a question we get a lot, which is where is this portfolio going to evolve? And I'll say this at a very high level. In our DNA is the incubation phase.
Okay.
In our DNA is the high growth phase.
Right.
And so we look at those 3 cohorts and know we're at 10 brands today.
Okay.
We're not going to be at 10 brands a year from now. Right. We will have more brands in the portfolio. It starts with the organizations that align with the adjacencies to our existing businesses that give us more relevancy at the customer level, right? We want to make sure that we're broadening the products, the services that our consumers have available to them when they've got a problem or when there's an opportunity.
Right.
From there, it comes to how differentiated is that brand? What is the culture like? Are they tech forward and meeting today's and tomorrow's consumer where they are and where they're going? And so there's a tremendous amount of opportunity. I think we're in this luxurious place of being able to really dig in and choose which brands do we want to engage with.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's a process. I would expect that you're going to see some movement from us in the next 12 months, and I think you'll be excited about what we bring in the portfolio.
Absolutely. And we want to talk about some of the brands, but Scott, unfortunately, we're out of time.
We only bought so much airtime
tonight. Would I be able to twist your arm to come back next week and talk a little bit more specifically about the brands?
I would be happy to do that. It's been great.
I kind of thought he might be amenable to that.
I mean, he came all the way here.
He did indeed. So, Scott, thanks for joining us. This is one of those dun 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 to be continued episodes. It's kind of exciting. So next week, guess where our guest will be? It'll be Scott, and we're going to be talking about the different brands within Empower. So looking forward to it. So thanks for coming on. Don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back on the Franchising 360 show after this. Thanks again for watching the Franchising 360 show, brought to you by Fran Coach. Danielle and I hope these episodes continue to educate you on the franchise industry. In between our episodes, if you would like to learn more about franchising and the ways in which Fran Coach can help, there are a few places you should check out. First, be sure to listen to the award-winning Franchising 101 podcast. You can find this on Spotify or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. Next, check out the Fran Coach YouTube channel, Fran Coach for You. You can catch past episodes of the Franchising 360 show, plus tons of other content. If you like to read, we encourage you to check out the book, Becoming a Franchise Owner. And finally, when you are ready to take that first personalized step and explore franchise industry further, please reach out to our amazing team at Fran Coach. There is never any fee for our service, so let us help you create your better tomorrow. Until next week, for Danielle Wright, I'm Tim Parmeter. Thanks for tuning in to the Franchising 360 show.